1, 2, 3. Not yet! Oh, y'all good. All right.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here. So I'm Nicole Grummins. I am campaign manager for Re-elect Kim Barber. And we are just so excited to have Dr. Barber running for District 1 City Council again. And I'm just going to get right into it. I'll introduce our first speaker. It's my honor to introduce Supervisor Chris Lopez.
Good morning, everybody. Look, there's this incredible thing that happens every single year here along this particular stretch of the coast. The monarchs come home. They return, thousands of them, where they cluster together in the trees. These aren't normal monarchs, though. If you think about it, scientists refer to them as a super generation, because the regular monarch only lives a couple weeks. But this super generation can live months, and they're intentionally built this way because they have to travel and survive a long distance to arrive here to set up a spring and a future that they may never see. But it's about the generations that come after. When Kim reached out to me and asked if I would be here today, that's what jumped into my mind. The leaders we are looking for are a super generation of leaders who understand that they can't do the work alone. They must cluster with community. They must come together to build a future that they may never see fully complete. Willing to fight for the housing our communities demanding for, willing to fight for the secure water supply our communities are fighting for, and more importantly, willing to fight for inclusion. And I have seen that leader in Dr. Kim Barber. I've seen her stand up, not just in words, not in a campaign slogan and promise, but in action. Her life, 16 years so far dedicated at CSUMB to build programs that take students who've been told, this door's not for you. She wakes up every morning and kicks that door and it says, come on through. Right? That is the type of leader we want and need. Someone who leads in action, someone who leads with heart and soul. That is what we need. A super generation of leaders projecting forward, understanding that it's not about us and today, maybe not even tomorrow, but building for a better spring when they can emerge again and create the future we all dream of. I see that in Dr. Kim Barber. It's why I drove up from Southern Monterey County today to be here to support her, to be here to recognize that reflection of the type of leader Monterey deserves, that Monterey has. And let me be clear, this is a re-election campaign. We don't need to re-elect her because the work is done and she's finished the work. We're here because the work is unfinished. And it takes persistent leaders who understand these challenges, who will keep pushing for these things that we believe in together. So let's give her one more round of applause for Dr. Kim Barber. We're being re-elected, and I look forward to working side by side with each of you to get that done. And now it is my honor to introduce the 32nd Controller of the State of California, Betty Yee.
Thank you, Supervisor Lopez. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. And it is such a beautiful day here, and it's a beautiful day to launch the re-election campaign of Dr. Kim Barber to our City Council here in Monterey. I'm very proud to be here, and why I'm here is because as a former statewide elected official, certainly as the former CFO of California, I care about the integrity of our local elected officials. And what we see in Dr. Kim Barber is someone who has that integrity, someone who understands that the success of Monterey is also to the state's success. And frankly, we all should be reminded that the history of California began right here in Monterey, California. And so much of what we're preserving here and wanting to continue to enhance is our ability to call California, yes, a large global economy, but it really rests on the economic health of each and every one of our communities. And this is what Dr. Kim Barber is so laser focused on, not only in terms of her personal experience as a businesswoman and someone who understands the vital aspect of what business means to this community, but also what it means in terms of, as Supervisor Lopez says, inclusion. We can't have communities that are just so exclusive to the detriment of those who actually work to keep these communities going. And this has been her passion. And I hearken back with her professional work about my work decades ago in terms of the whole base reuse of Fort Ord here, right here in Monterey County. And what we've been able to develop and the kind of opportunities that we've been able to see, including a first-class higher education institution, is exactly what Dr. Barber's about. She's an educator at heart, but a community leader and someone who just puts a lot of her own experience on the table in terms of what's leading it as far as what's best for this great city. Like, we have an affordability crisis here in California, and it's probably most palpable in communities like this in Monterey, like Monterey. And we need leaders like Kim Barber, Dr. Kim Barber, to continue with just understanding that we're not just trying to deal with the affordability issue of today, we're trying to build a future that is sustainable for the future. And this is where her work is going to continue. Her work is going to continue with the community at the table. And her work is going to continue with being sure that when she is done with this work, that we have something that's sustained at the end of the day. And this is why I'm here to support her. It's why I'm here to just say to all of you, thank you for being here and giving her more time to continue to do the work that needs to get done. And more importantly, we just need during this time someone who's very focused on the pragmatism of what needs to get done. There's a lot going on in politics today, but really at the end of the day, politics should be about how we deliver for the best outcomes for the people of our communities. And so I'm very happy to be here. I'm very proud to support Dr. Barber. I know that all of you are here to support her. She needs to have resources, and so I hope all of you will think about providing those as well to make sure she's successful. So I have the great pleasure of introducing someone who you all know as a business leader here in Monterey and in this region. And Christina Reddick really understands that what we need here in this region is not just to depend on those that come from the outside to come and do business here in Monterey, but that how do we grow the business community here to where this becomes really a sustainable place where all of us can find economic mobility. And so, Christina, please come forward.
Wow, to go after them, that's a little intimidating. So let me just kind of qualify myself a little bit. I have been a local resident for over 50 years. I've been a business owner for 30. I've gone through a lot of transitions through the community. The Fort Ord closing, San Carlos being rebuilt, Marriott being rebuilt. I've seen a lot of transitions through Monterey, especially as a business owner. I've gone through a lot of city council and a lot of mayors. And this is actually the first time where I really felt connected to the council and the people in my community. Dr. Kim Barber really embraces both the neighborhood and the business community. For me, she created a roundtable with business districts, the Lighthouse District and the Cannery Row Business Association, and the Neighborhood Association, and the NCIP. And we create a roundtable so we can all communicate and talk about what's going on in our districts, in our associations, and in our community. So I really feel that she has the best interest in the community and the neighborhood. And that's really all I have to say. And I'm just always honored when she comes to our business association meetings. And if we have questions, she's always, and if she doesn't know the question, she always comes back within a few minutes or within a few days with the information. She finds out. She doesn't just blurt out, I'll get back to you. She does. She truly, truly gets back to you with the information needed. So as a resident, as a business owner, I find that, to be incredible. That doesn't always happen. So I'm honored to actually support her in the future, and I'm very excited with what's to come because now's the time with the transition that's happening in the the city of Monterey. Now's the time for her to continue what she's doing. So I am actually honored to introduce Kate Daniels. It's 5th District?
District,
5th
yes,
District
yes,
Supervisor Kate Daniels.
I got ushered into the side. I didn't get to see all the people who were here. Fabulous. This is wonderful. And I'm sorry I missed my colleagues' comments, and I'm sorry I missed Betty's comments. And I got to hear Christina, and Christina and her husband brought fun back to Monterey. So we love them very much for bringing so much fun and joy and recreation and places for us to go and hang out. I had my I almost said 60th. Oh my God. I had my 50th birthday party at Oscar's Playground. So much fun. But we're here to talk about Kim Barber, Dr. Kim Barber, and I am thrilled to be here in support of Kim's re-election campaign. I know that as I heard comments about Supervisor Lopez's comments about inclusion, and it really does matter. Having women's voices at the table matters. And I was corrected on International Women's Day when I said that Monterey had yet to have a woman mayor, and someone very annoyed with me in the audience came up and said, we did have a woman mayor. In 1960, there was a woman who was the mayor of the city of Monterey. So I am so sorry. We've had one mayor. And so, we've got work to do. We've got work to do. But in the meantime, having women's voices at the table is critical. We bring a valuable perspective. We bring a forward-thinking perspective. We bring care and about our communities and the people within our communities. And we bring that to the table for everyone. When women are at the table, men and women alike tend to be more forward-thinking. And so it's really, really important that we're at the table for both men and women alike to be more feminine in their decision making. That is something that occurs. And so I just want to be here in support of Dr. Barber, also in support of the type of leadership that she has brought to this role. You heard about it from Christina. You heard about her activities in the community. She's not just your representative for the days that she is on the dais in this building. She's your representative in the coffee shops where she's meeting regularly with constituents. She's your representative at this business roundtable in the business community. She cares and she's present. And I will say that's not something you always get at the council level. And so she is engaged and she is there to learn and represent you. And we want more of that. We don't want to lose that opportunity. So it's really important in this next few months, it's very quick between now and November, that we do everything we can to reach all of the community members that we can in Dr. Barber's district to get the vote out and get her reelected. Because as your supervisor, I am more successful. Supervisor Lopez is more successful when we have partners in the community who are doing this work with us. And Dr. Barber's one of those partners. So do everything you can. It's not just showing up today, but it's 20 friends to the next event. It's making phone calls and making sure that folks know about this election and that they're going to do their part and you're going to do your part to help us get Dr. Barber reelected. So I'm glad to be here. And with that, I get to introduce Anthony Gonzalez, and it is my pleasure. He is a member of this community, an active member of this community who's going to share his support for Dr. Barber.
Hi everyone, my name is Anthony Gonzalez and I've lived here in this beautiful city for over 15 years now. I'm a resident of District 1, New Monterey. Lived there, like I said, for over 15 years, and I've had the pleasure of meeting Dr. Kim Barber several years ago and just had an amazing experience with her. Out of all the politicians that I've ever met, she is so accessible, right? She is someone that you can actually access. She has these things called Kim Talks. I don't know if you guys have ever been to a Kim Talk, but I've been to many of them, where she hosts them on the weekends, and you're able to actually sit down with her and ask her questions, have a real conversation with a politician about what's happening in our local community. Right, there's our city council meetings, which I've attended a lot of those as well, but you don't get to ask questions, right? It's very one-sided. You listen, you can make a couple comments, but you don't get to get deep in there and ask those kind of questions that you really want. And that's what's been so great about Dr. Kim Barber as a representative of our community. She's accessible, she's willing to answer those questions for you. And when she doesn't know the answer, she doesn't give you a bunch of fluff, you know what I mean? She actually takes the time to go and do the research to find the answers if she doesn't know them. So I am so honored to support Dr. Kim Barber on this next phase in her journey. And I have the honor of welcoming her to the stage while we're all here. Please welcome Dr. Kim Barber.
Amazing. I am thankful and grateful to everyone who spoke today. Thank you to all that came out to be able to support me. I really appreciate that. A lot of them have traveled a long way to do that. And I'm so grateful for you being here today. And I just want to be able to recognize my kitchen cabinet, my campaign manager, Nicole Grummins, my treasurer, Barry Ritter, and Ashley Call, my volunteer coordinator. It is my honor and it is my privilege to be able to officially announce my campaign for re-election to City Council District 1. It has been amazing. 4 years has gone by so quickly. And I came into this with one thing about being able to make sure that government would reach and work for everyone, that people would feel included, that people's voices would be heard. A lot of times we may not all agree, but we still have value in our voices. And I think it's important to make sure that everyone's voice is heard. Neighborhoods get attention and decisions are made for the people and not for politics. Because it's time that we look and work together and continue to work. We have been listening. We have been leading and we have been accountable. And that's how I've been leading with my decisions. Every time I come forth, I always think and do the research and figure, how does this impact someone? And then I open my doors to make sure that people know that I'm accessible. And I think that's very important, to make sure that people can be able to know how to reach you so that their voices can be heard. I've had Kim Talks, and the Kim Talks are at local coffee shops, making sure local businesses are being able to get accessibility and being able to get marketing. I've had business walks, and the business walks are where the neighborhood associations are able to come and be a part of it. And they come with the city manager, and they come with me as the city council person leading them to talk about and walk the streets where they live, where they shop, where they learn and where they have fun, to be able to say what's working and what's not working so that we can be able to know how we can solve it together. I look at resolution and not division, bringing unity. And so all these different things that I have worked to do in working with emergency evacuation and defensible spaces. I did a forum for our district so we would know in case of an emergency, where do we go? How does it work? That wasn't happening before. I had Senator Laird to come forth and to give us a legislative update when things were going topsy-turvy in 2025 at the beginning. I had different things that were being done to be able to make sure that we were being heard and we were being protected and we were making sure that service comes to us. And so I continue to do this. I continue to still work for affordable housing. I continue to still work for people to have the cost of living to come down so people can be able to live and have fun and be able to thrive, their families to thrive, whether you're working families or whether you're seniors just trying to live and age with dignity. We all deserve that. I don't care who you are, whether you've been here forever or whether you've only been here for a few months. You deserve to be able to live where you work. Yes. We want to be able to look at that. Transportation, all these things are important. And that's why I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet, and I need your support because only together we can do this. We can't do this. I can't do this by myself because it never was intended to be by myself. It was always intended to be able to be collaborative, working together, working with businesses, working with residents, working with organizations, working with nonprofits, working with government, working with state government, working with the United States government. Come on now. We got to work together. It's time for us to be able to understand that we all have to work together to survive and thrive. Not just survive, but to thrive. And it takes all of us to be able to do it. So I'm asking for your support. I'm asking for your support in many ways, whether you can knock on the door, whether you can do a phone bang, whether you can put a sign in your yard, and donations, however that looks. I'm asking for your support, for your vote, and to tell others about it so that you can be able to get me reelected so that I can continue the work, to still work for Monterey, because guess what? I'm not done yet. Thank you so much for coming today. We are going to close right now and by thanking you and asking you, if you haven't had a chance to sign up, please sign up with the kitchen cabinet so that they can be able to make sure they have your information. Let us know if you're able to take a sign. But we're getting ready to hit the streets with canvassing, because it's time. Like I said, we're not just we're about talk, we're about action. So right after this, we're getting ready to go canvassing, and we just thank you again for coming out. Have a great day.
Not done yet.
All right, not done yet.
I thought we were saying we're not done yet.
All right, 1, 2, 3, not done yet. Y'all good. All right.